Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot. Suitcases, Tetris style.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
No going back this time. Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax, carpets.
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant. If things go to plan, it'll be smooth sailing.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
A General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today we're doing a little flipperoo. It is Lucky Part 39 and Lucky and Liz Part 31 because it's primarily going to focus on Lucky. So today's episode might be a teeny tiny bit longer because we're actually going to go up until Greg Vaughn left. So this is December 15th, 2008 through October 20th, 2009. There's going to be a lot of holes in the story when it comes to the biotoxin spheres. And then there's an explosion in the hospital because both of those events took several weeks and revolved around, it was one of those, both of those storylines were basically all cast encompassing. But Lucky, being a police officer, obviously had a lot of in and out. But there are some important moments with Lucky during those things that impact later. So I feel like some of it's going to make sense and some of it's just going to be like, why is that random sentence in there? Stick with us. So we pick up where Lucky showed up at Sam's apartment, hoping to follow through with their dinner plans, but she wasn't there. Disappointed and restless, he went to the haunted star to see his father. Luke was in the middle of a bizarre plan to fake a breakdown in front of Tracy, hoping to win her back by appearing completely incapable without her. Yes, because that's what every woman wants to see, is a man need her to take care of him. That nothing gets us crawling back like, please let me be your mom. The scene with Luke only as, and I don't mean that like if something happened to my husband and he needed me to take care of him, I wouldn't take care of him. I mean, if you're going to seem like you're completely incapable without me.
Right. If we're broken up and you're trying to give me reasons to get back together, it's not, oh, you're so helpless without me. That's not attractive.
No. The scene with Luke only adds to Lucky's growing sense of things unraveling personally and in every relationship he tried to hold on to. When Lucky returned to Sam's place and still found it empty, his concern shifted into something darker. At that same moment, Sam was alone on the docks, hiding from Sasha's men. And remember, Sasha is a gangster, not our Sasha. After they cleared out, Sam tried to call Jason but got no answer. Before she could escape, Sasha's crew returned and captured her. Back at the penthouse, Jason was finishing a workout when Lucky showed up uninvited, visibly agitated. He demanded to know if Sam was there and whether Jason had seen her. As soon as Jason opened the door, Lucky stormed in, unable to mask his jealousy. He questioned Jason about what happened between him and Sam during Jake's rescue, but cut himself off before diving too deep. Instead, he explained that Sam hadn't shown up for their plans and hadn't called. Jason began to piece things together, especially once he learned about their argument over Sam pursuing Sasha. Realizing Sam might be in danger, Jason brought in Spinelli to help trace her. Spinelli found Sam's last call had been to Jason. He offered the idea that maybe Sam had just needed space after the argument, suggesting her time with Jason might have stirred up old feelings. Jason brushed it off and focused on the fact that Sam had clearly gone missing while chasing something dangerous. Meanwhile, Sam had woken up in an abandoned mine shaft. Her old hip injury flared up from the fall, preventing her from climbing out. She tried to build a fire to stay warm, but failed. Alone in pain and freezing, Sam drifted into sleep, dreaming of Lucky, telling him she loved him. He disappeared from the dream, and she woke up with a start still stuck. Back in town, Lulu dropped by Lucky's to keep company on Christmas Eve. Luke, Nikolas, and eventually Spinelli and Maxie joined them. Christmas tree literally rolled up to their door, courtesy of a truck outside, and they decorated it together. Spinelli delivered a mysterious key, and when Lulu used it on a locked box, they discovered the angel tree topper from Luke and Laura's first Christmas.
Aww.
Then the phone rang, and it was Laura. They all passed the phone around to wish her a Merry Christmas. The moment was warm, and for a second, Lucky was just a brother, son, and father again, not a man unraveling. I love that line. Sam was eventually rescued. Jason had help keep her stable until help arrived. When she woke up, Lucky was there, and then she accidentally called him Jason. Explaining that Jason had been the last person she saw, Lucky tried to let it go, but he couldn't ignore the deeper issue: why Sam kept ending up in life-threatening situations. Good question. She insisted that Sasha had to be stopped and that she wouldn't wait around for someone else to get hurt. Lucky asked why she hadn't trusted him enough to tell him. Sam said she already knew what he would say. His frustration boiled over. He said it made sense why she'd rather go to someone who told her what she wanted to hear and then walked out. Sam confided in Alexis about the strange dreams she'd had while freezing in the mine shaft, and one of them was Alexis urging her to stay alive. As they arrived home, they found Lucky on the couch. Sam admitted that she and Lucky hadn't officially broken up, and slowly things began to click in place. After Alexis left, Sam asked Lucky where they stood. He said he wanted to get back to the place where they could trust each other again, and Sam said she wanted that too. But the peace didn't last. Lucky dropped by unannounced, explaining why he had missed New Year's Eve. There was a broken water heater at Liz's and a late shift at the department. Sam said she understood, but Lucky sensed she was hiding something. When he asked directly if it was illegal, Sam said no, but offered no other details. Frustrated, he left. Spinelli came by shortly after, rattled by the fact that someone had hacked into his computer. Sam was worried, but said nothing to Lucky. Not long after, Lucky arrested Johnny in Lulu's apartment despite her protests. At the same time, Maxie showed up at Sam's, venting about feeling like a third wheel in Spinelli's life. Sam, though preoccupied, listened, and both women acknowledged the sting of being outsiders and the quiet desperation of watching someone drift away. Later, as Sam was leaving Jason another message, Lucky walked in and overheard. He asked what she needed to talk to Jason about, and she was evasive. Lucky exploded. He asked how she'd feel if he were secretly reaching out to an ex. Sam pointed out that he still saw Liz, but Lucky insisted it was different. They had children, and he stormed off. Sam begged him not to treat her like the enemy, but it was too late. Then came the night Sam looked in through Lucky's window and saw him and Liz laughing, playing a video game together. She stood there for a long time, unsure of what to feel. When Lucky spotted her and came outside, Sam brushed it off. He said she'd talk to him another time. Lucky returned to the warmth of his house and Liz's quiet company, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was slipping. At the docks, Sam crossed paths with Lucky and Liz again, and a boat exploded in the distance, in Jason's shipping lane. Sam said she had to check it out. Liz admitted she was trying to not care anymore for the sake of her kids. Later, Sam told Lucky she was applying to be a PI. He saw it as proof she was addicted to chaos. She said it was one thing she was actually good at. Their argument grew until Alexis arrived and Lucky made his exit. To Sam's surprise, Alexis supported the new career.
Sam made a bold move. She approached Rick at the Metro Court asking for a job with Anthony Zaccara. Rick was skeptical. Anthony was intrigued. Sam insisted she didn't take orders from any man. Lucky, meanwhile, was trying to piece together what she was doing, especially after learning that she had met with Jason more than once. Tension simmered until the night Lucky joined Sam at the Metro Court bar. They opened up and for a few moments reconnected. Later, in a hot tub, things heated up until Lucky, mid-kiss, accidentally called her by Liz's name. Everything stopped. Yeah, I would think so. Sam, crushed but composed, told him it was time to walk away while they could still be friends. Once he left, she called Jason and told him she was headed out to intercept a shipment for Zaccara. If he didn't hear from her by 2 a.m., she wanted him to come find her. Outside the hospital, Lucky was on the phone with someone about a meeting, unaware that Rebecca was nearby listening in. Lucky wasted no time. As soon as Mac updated him on the crisis at GH and Liz's condition, Lucky was gone, rushing headfirst into danger without hesitation. When he arrived, Lulu and Sam were stunned to see he'd broken quarantine just to be by Liz's side. No one questioned why. The answer was written all over his face.
Yeah, that was because of the biotoxins. I forgot to put that in there. That's why there was a quarantine, because of the biotoxin spheres.
Thank you. So Jason joined them in the lobby, but Lucky had only one question: where was Liz? Upon hearing she was in the ICU, he left immediately. Jason and Sam, meanwhile, speculated that Earl Bragg may have had help and checked on the location of the biotoxin spears. Lulu and Spinelli, watched from the sidelines, had their own theory. Maybe Jason and Sam weren't just worried about Bragg. Maybe they were worried about what Lucky's unwavering love for Liz still meant. Inside the ICU, Liz woke up to find Lucky at her side. She told him he shouldn't be there. He said there was no place else he could be. They shared a quiet, powerful exchange, an echo to their past of a love that had endured too much to be easily dismissed. Lucky promised he wouldn't leave her. From the hallway, Jason stood witness to the connection between them. Sam, too, saw it unfold through the glass. Later, Nikolas visited Liz. When he saw Lucky, they both tried to make light of things, talking about getting together at Kelly's after the hospital was rebuilt. Just the three of them, like old times. Lucky was surprised Nadine wasn't included, but Nikolas explained those quiet gatherings were something he'd once shared with Emily. He wasn't ready to change that dynamic. As they talked, Rebecca lingered just outside Liz's room, overhearing but unseen. Moments before Nikolas exited, Rebecca slipped away. She returned later, crossing paths with Lucky again, this time in the hotel lobby. When Lucky introduced himself as a cop, Rebecca was open and cooperative, until she realized he was Nikolas's brother. The moment changed, she backed off, wary of him now. Back in the hospital, chaos escalated. The explosion rocketed the building, and Lucky helped Epiphany evacuate as best as he could. At one point, Liz, weak and struggling to breathe, asked Lulu to take care of Lucky and the boys if she didn't make it. When Lulu encouraged her to keep fighting, Liz clung to hope. Minutes later, Lucky rushed in and gathered Liz in his arms. On the rooftop, as evacuees assembled, Lucky held Liz close and kissed her, telling her she had to live for her boys, for their future. Nearby, Sam watched silently. Eventually, Liz woke up safe at Mercy Hospital to find Lucky beside her again. He told her there was no option but survival. When she brought up the woman who looked like Emily, Lucky grew concerned. He knew Nikolas would be drawn to someone with Emily's face and decided to go check on his brother. After all was said and done, Sam and Lucky met and spoke honestly. Both admitted that other priorities in life had overtaken their relationship. With mutual understanding, they agreed to part ways. When Lucky later told Nikolas, his brother questioned if Liz was the reason. Lucky denied it, but admitted he needed to be alone. He encouraged Nikolas to consider the same. Nikolas wasn't sure that was possible, not with Rebecca in town. At Kelly's, Lucky tried to get to know Rebecca better. When Nikolas showed up, Rebecca abruptly left. Later, Lucky offered to help her find work, and Mike stepped in with an opening at the diner. Rebecca seemed ready to accept, but Edward's sudden appearance put her on edge. Lucky and Liz reconnected quietly at the hospital. He brought the boys to visit, and they agreed whatever happened between them, there'd always be a family. Patrick confirmed Liz was healthy enough to go home. She celebrated the news with her sons while Lucky took a moment to thank Patrick for everything. There was mutual respect between them, no words wasted. At Kelly's again, Liz and Rebecca talked. Their conversation cut short when Lucky arrived. Liz noticed Rebecca flirting, though Lucky remained oblivious, until Rebecca asked him out directly. Meanwhile, on the Haunted Star, Luke and Ethan gambled while Lucky watched from the sidelines. Luke offered him a spot in the action, but Lucky declined, too aware of where those roads had led before. When Ethan tried to smooth talk his way out of being caught with Lucky's wallet, Luke didn't let him off the hook. Ethan returned it, smirking. Lucky, fed up, turned to leave, only for Luke to call out one last time. Lucky was furious, threatening to arrest Ethan, but Luke stepped in, reminding him there was no witnesses. Lucky was shocked by his father's defense of Ethan, then tried to rally Tracy, only to find that she sided with Luke. Hurt and frustrated, Lucky lashed out, but Luke stood firm. Tracy then challenged Lucky, suggesting that if he wanted his father's respect, maybe he should try earning it. Before the argument could escalate further, Luke intervened, but Lucky had already stormed off, feeling defeated. Once Lucky left, Luke sent Ethan away to speak privately with Tracy, telling her to stay out of his conflicts with his children.
We didn't really see. Did we see Tracy interacting with Lucky when he was just back?
No.
I didn't think so. We saw her with Lulu a good bit.
Right. I mean, Lucky was already an adult whenever Luke and Tracy got together. So Lucky didn't really have to interact with her. And if those were the type of interactions they had, of course he's not close with her.
Right. But that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, I don't think we saw her even say hi.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you look like your dad. Nothing. Okay. Later, Lucky confronted Ethan on the docks, and their dispute quickly turned physical. Rebecca stepped in to break up the fight and was surprised when Lucky let Ethan go, taking responsibility for starting it. He confided to Rebecca his fear that Ethan might be taking advantage of Luke. Together, they headed to Kelly's, where Robin hurried past them, acting strangely. Lucky followed her inside, sensing something was off. Robin feigned a reason for leaving Emma unattended. This was like little baby Emma, right? This was baby Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were just talking about Robin telling Patrick she was pregnant recently.
Yes.
Quickly changing the subject to Lucky's forehead injury. Rebecca urged Lucky to get it treated, and with Robin's agreement, Lucky agreed to go to the hospital with Rebecca. Meanwhile, Luke and Tracy discussed Lucky's outburst and Ethan's presence at the Haunted Star. Luke valued Tracy's support, but insisted she not interfere with his family matters. He admitted he thought Lucky sought his approval and wished his son would move on without needing validation. At Mercy, Rebecca and Lucky waited for Lucky's cut to be stitched, sharing lighthearted stories while Nikolas watched nearby. Tensions rose when Lucky invited Nikolas to join them for a night out. Nikolas declined. Later, Nikolas met Liz at Kelly's, where she sensed his unease over Lucky and Rebecca's growing closeness. Nikolas confessed his jealousy, but also his awareness that he had no right to feel that way. Alexis confronted Nikolas about his pursuit of Rebecca, calling it stalking. Nikolas denied it, but his defense faltered when Lucky walked in, openly flirting with Rebecca and referencing their date. Nikolas then found Sam at the docks and asked about her relationship with Lucky. Sam said Lucky wasn't looking for a relationship, which made Nikolas question why Lucky was pursuing Rebecca. Sam later asked Rebecca to be mindful of the impact her relationship with Lucky had on others, but Rebecca insisted she owed no apologies. Meanwhile, Lucky and Nikolas argued on the docks over Lucky's friendship with Rebecca. Nikolas was upset that Lucky was involved with someone who resembled his late wife, Emily. Lucky dismissed Nikolas's concerns, reminding him Rebecca wasn't Emily. Liz caught Rebecca eavesdropping on their argument and called attention to it, causing Rebecca to retreat. Liz asked why they couldn't understand Nikolas's struggle with Lucky and Rebecca, but Rebecca avoided the question. Lucky apologized to Nikolas, who brushed it off. Nikolas later reassured Rebecca he was only at the hospital for work, but she apologized for overhearing his fight with Lucky. She insisted their relationship was just friendship, and Nikolas wished she felt as comfortable with him as she did with Lucky. She probably didn't, because she knows that every time he looks at her, he's looking for Emily.
Right, exactly.
Rebecca thought it was because Lucky wasn't emotionally tied to Emily like Nikolas was. Well, yeah, he was. He also tried to get with Emily, just not as much as Nikolas.
Mm-hmm.
At the hospital, Lucky confronted Nikolas about following Rebecca. Nikolas explained Rebecca was there for a mammogram, a reminder of how much she and Emily had in common. Rebecca overheard the conversation, but reassured Nikolas she wasn't upset. After Lucky was called away, Nikolas offered to take Rebecca home. Moments later, a nurse informed Rebecca that she needed a second mammogram. They don't tell you that quickly. Maybe they do if you're at high risk, though.
No, they don't.
No? Okay. Actually, I do know that because I know someone who had to go that got the call. Yep. Okay. Sorry. I shouldn't be saying that. Not that I didn't believe you either, but I was just thinking, I'm like, that is so weird that if you were at high risk, you would think that they would be like, hey, we're going to take a look at this now and let you know. Later, Nikolas, although I understand staffing and all that stuff, again, this is fake. Later, Nikolas and Rebecca were surprised to see Lucky entering Kelly's after their night together. Lucky accused Nikolas of using Rebecca to replace Emily, but both Nikolas and Rebecca insisted otherwise. After Lucky left, Rebecca received a call with her biopsy results, gripping Nikolas's hand for support. Back at the Haunted Star, Luke and Ethan talked over a hangover remedy. Lucky arrived, wanting Ethan gone, but Luke allowed him to stay. The conversation turned to Lulu and family tensions, leading to a heated exchange between Lucky and Luke, with Ethan backing Luke. After Lucky left, Luke confided in Ethan about his complicated relationship with his son and worries about Ethan's past. When Ethan revealed his previous connection to Holly Sutton, Tracy pressed for more details. Lucky interrupted to warn Luke that Helena Cassadine had returned. and Tracy was furious that Monica and Edward had taken Rebecca to the Quartermaine mansion. Luke dismissed Ethan's confusion and hinted at the complicated history with Helena. Hinted at a complicated history. Geez, that's easy. She thinks I killed her husband and she's been after me for decades.
Right.
She's cursed my family. She gave us this boat. She kidnapped your brother.
Right.
You know, all those things. Those normal things. Lucky, disgusted by Luke's indifference, left abruptly. Rebecca returned from Spoon Island, frustrated with Cassadine chaos, and found solace in talking with Lucky, who shared her feelings. Later, Lucky warned Liz and Nikolas he wasn't backing down from his date with Rebecca, sparking another argument with Nikolas. Rebecca overheard and questioned Liz's attempt to intervene. Lucky declared he was ready to move on from his past and left with Rebecca, leaving Liz to regret bringing up Emily. At Kelly's, Liz and Nikolas dined while discussing Lucky's attraction to Rebecca. Was it because Rebecca resembled Emily? Nikolas denied it, claiming it was Rebecca's personality that drew him in, which Liz found amusing. That night, Nikolas watched as Lucky and Rebecca returned from their date, sharing a kiss. Liz, dealing with a tough day, brightened momentarily at Lucky's arrival until he headed straight for Rebecca. Nikolas asked Liz if seeing them together bothered her. She deflected and reminded him that Lucky and Rebecca were free to make their own choices. Their playful coffee flirtation was interrupted when Lucky ran into Ethan again. Ethan revealed he was leaving town, offering Lucky advice about appreciating the father he had rather than trying to outdo him. Later, Rebecca relaxed on the docks, talking with Nikolas, who suggested Lucky's interest in her might be for Liz's benefit. Rebecca rejected the idea and walked away, calling Liz a little snip for interfering. Liz ignored her, but Nikolas urged her to smile before kissing her passionately, both caught off guard by Lucky and Rebecca watching. That is, Nikolas kissing Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lucky accused Nikolas of spite, and after a tense moment, Rebecca left with Lucky. Liz asked Nikolas, now what? Waiting on the docks. Quack. Rebecca called someone expressing doubt about being able to change Lucky and confessing it wasn't as simple as planned. She ended the call as Lucky approached. They planned a boat ride together, but Lucky hesitated, hoping Nikolas and Liz might join. He denied trying to one-up Nikolas, insisting he simply enjoyed Rebecca's company and wasn't ready for anything serious. Rebecca agreed, and they continued their date. So wait, you're taking this girl out on a date on a boat, like you're on a boat ride and everything. You're mad about the fact that your brother is kissing your ex-wife, but you're hoping that they'll double date with you now?
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was going to say. I'm sorry, but no. I do not want to double date with my ex for any reason, no matter how well we get along. And I certainly don't want to double date with my ex that I see kissing my boyfriend's ex. Like, what?
Yep.
Not even getting in. Yeah. No.
Or no, sorry. It's Lucky. Nikolas is worried that Lucky is attracted to Rebecca because he looks like his dead ex-wife. So in retaliation, he's going to kiss his ex-wife.
Right.
Which then is going to make brother mad, Lucky mad. But then Lucky and Rebecca are going to continue their date, but they're hoping that, wow.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So
Yep.
Anyway, later, Rebecca and Lucky returned from their outing, both reluctant to end the night. Rebecca admitted that she had a great time, especially when Lucky let her take the wheel on the boat. They decided to keep the evening going with drinks. At Jake's, Nikolas and Liz ran into each other. Liz joked about their hospital stunt, admitting it felt good to let loose, while Nikolas remained unapologetic. Liz suggested Nikolas's kiss had been less about her and more about getting back at Lucky for his date with Rebecca. Nikolas confessed that that was true, but that he also valued Liz's friendship and support. Okay, you don't kiss your friends because you appreciate their support, but whatever. Coleman took their order, surprised to see them together. Nikolas, caressing Liz's cheek, said neither had expected this pairing, but sometimes it's better late than never. No.
What?
They toasted.
I like how we're surprised at this and we know where this goes.
We do know where it goes, but it's still just like, ew. I'm sorry. Just ew. And especially to say it like that, like, oh, we're finally together. You didn't want to be together. You had plenty of options before this for you guys to be together. You ended up with Emily. She ended up with Lucky. Like, she'd even had a crush on you
never
in
on
the
the table.
Right.
This
Like
was
she had a crush on you in the beginning and you wanted nothing to do with her, and that's how she ended up talking to Lucky. Like anyway, they toasted with tequila shots when Nikolas realized it was their first time drinking together. Liz shared she often went out with the girls at Jake's, but sometimes wished she could go back to simpler times. Nikolas thought she had everything she wanted, but Liz admitted she lacked someone to share it with. They spoke openly about Lucky and Jason. Liz confessed her breakup with Lucky had been painful, and after Jason, she felt lonely. Part of her wanted to try again with Lucky, but fear held her back. They had never been able to make it work, and she didn't want to risk their children's well-being. As drinks flowed, Nicholas reminded her they were both single, but Liz pointed out he'd always have Emily in his heart. Nicholas admitted he was initially drawn to Rebecca because she resembled Emily, but he had come to care for her as herself. He even said if he'd been filling a void, he would have chosen Liz instead. Liz was moved
well,
by this. What?
if I was going to replace Emily with anyone, it would have been you.
Right. That's what he just said. And Liz was moved by that, especially when Nicholas explained how similar she was to Emily in the way she looked at and teased him. Okay, that's still not a compliment. Like, there are similarities between you and your friends. That does not mean that if something happens to
Right.
your friend, that you should move in on her husband.
No.
And I don't want someone liking me because I remind them of their dead wife.
Right.
Oh man. Their conversation took a lighter turn when Liz mentioned how Emily had once told her Nicholas was a great kisser, something Liz hadn't fully believed until their own kiss at the hospital caught her off guard. Nicholas wondered why he hadn't seen a future with Liz before. Because she was married to
Because
your
she was
brother.
married to your brother.
He noted their ease and shared history made it only a small shift to see each other differently. Liz agreed, and when Nicholas asked her to lean in, he kissed her. Moments later, Lucky and Rebecca walked in and stopped abruptly at the sight. Seeing Nicholas and Liz kiss, Lucky and Rebecca quickly left Jake's. Coleman, trying to be discreet, told Nicholas and Liz that their friends had seen everything. Nicholas admitted Lucky looked like he'd been punched, and Rebecca was shocked. Alone, Nicholas took responsibility, suggesting Liz could tell Lucky he took advantage of her while she was drunk. Liz
That's
rejected
going to
the
help.
excuse. Right. Exactly. Oh, my brother, it's fine. I forgive you that you took advantage of my drunk ex-wife. Liz rejected the excuse she had enjoyed the kiss as much as Nicholas. They discussed their complicated histories with Lucky, admitting they might all be trying to prove they could move past old relationships. So Liz urged Nicholas to be honest with Rebecca, and they decided to get a cab and leave together. Meanwhile, Lucky and Rebecca returned to her room above Kelly's. They talked about his past with Liz, how his addiction had been the final blow. Rebecca joked that anyone involved with Nicholas had it tough, since even Emily hadn't met his standards. Lucky defended his brother, saying he was still grieving. Though Lucky said he was glad to be getting to know Rebecca better, she laughed, feeling like an open book. They kissed passionately, but Lucky pulled away, worried about rushing intimacy after such an emotional night. Rebecca agreed. Yeah, like, sorry if Nicholas is a little, like, touchy about his dead wife. Like, give the man a
Yeah.
break. But okay, Rebecca. Nicholas unexpectedly barged into Rebecca's room without knocking. Seeing Lucky and Rebecca in a vulnerable moment, he apologized and left quickly. Dressed and composed, Rebecca admitted attraction to Nicholas, and Lucky said he wanted another chance to make things right with Liz. Why are we making out with these people and almost hooking up with them if we want to be with the other person?
Right.
And please don't make out with me and then stop and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this with you because I'm actually thinking about my ex. Like, ew.
Not multiple times.
Right.
Once. Okay.
Right. Exactly. We all make mistakes. But this is like the 400th time now. The next day, a still tipsy Liz told Patrick, why is she at work? Told Patrick about her wild night at Jake's and the kiss with Nicholas. She confessed she'd been married 4 times, had 2 kids, and still wasn't sure what love really meant. She asked Patrick what love meant to him, but before he could answer, Lucky showed up. Lucky told Liz about Nicholas's intrusion at Rebecca's room. He assured her nothing had happened with Rebecca because he realized he still had feelings for Liz and didn't want to move on. Liz was overjoyed and admitted that despite kissing Nikolas, she didn't want to move on from Lucky either. Lucky's focus soon shifted to darker family issues. At the Haunted Star, he questioned Ethan about a theft, but was frustrated when Luke immediately vouched for Ethan. Then Luke dropped a bomb. Ethan might be Lucky's brother. Lucky was furious, convinced it was a scheme. The idea that Luke might have been unfaithful to Laura infuriated him, especially since Ethan was close to Lulu's age. Luke claimed he wanted Ethan as a son because Ethan didn't know the real Luke and was a perfect son in his eyes. Lucky warned Luke not to tell Lulu about the test results. Luke believed Lulu deserved to know. As Lucky turned to leave, Tracy arrived and asked her to protect Lulu from any harm Luke might cause. Later, Lucky found Liz at the hospital. She was busy helping with Michael's surgery, but grateful for a second chance with Jake. She was also glad Lucky had opened his heart to Jake and Cameron. Lucky seemed distracted, and Liz guessed it was because of Luke. Lucky confirmed but didn't want to talk about it, focusing instead on planning Jake's birthday party with Liz. They decided to take the boys to an arcade with pizza and challenge each other to a game of Danger Duel.
Danger Duel.
Danger Duel.
I guess maybe that's that game that Sam saw them playing.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Right. Meanwhile, Tracy confronted Luke about his relationship with Ethan, suspecting Luke sought validation after his heart attacks. Ethan, unaware of the family tensions, asked Lulu to visit Luke, hoping to ease things. At the Spencer house, Lucky thanked Liz for being flexible with the boys' schedule. They had discussed the grandparents' day at Cam's school and Lucky's hope that Luke wouldn't attend given his escapades with Ethan. Liz sensed Lucky's anger and pressed him about Ethan. Lucky was disgusted by Luke's betrayal, especially the affair and the possibility that Ethan was Luke's son. Liz showed empathy for Lucky's feelings of rejection. She knew how much it hurt that Luke seemed to favor Ethan over Lucky and understood Lucky's resolve to hold Luke and Ethan accountable if they crossed the line. Later, Lucky and Lulu talked at the piers about Michael's recovery and Ethan's possible paternity. Lucky's anger flared, convinced Ethan's claim was a scam to steal Tracy's money. Ethan approached, and Lucky didn't apologize for his harsh words, standing firm that Ethan was up to no good. Liz shared the news with Nikolas, worried about Lucky's reaction. Nikolas remembers when Lucky had reacted similarly upon learning Nikolas was his brother. Luke was surprised when Liz visited the Haunted Star. Over coffee, Luke confirmed Holly held the answers about Ethan's paternity. Liz pointed out how Luke spoke of Ethan as the son he always wanted while seeming distant towards Lucky. Luke insisted he loved Lucky, but felt shut out. He resented Lucky's harsh judgment and said Ethan appreciated him in ways Lucky never had. Liz asked if Luke worried Lucky was settling with her and the boys. Luke admitted his fear that Lucky might feel trapped someday and hurt Liz as he'd hurt Laura. Liz was confident Lucky was happy and wished Luke and Lucky would stop judging each other and recognize their love. At the Drake residence, Tracy offered Holly $2 million to leave town, but Holly demanded more. Tracy's husband, Luke. Holly was confident she could seduce Luke away, despite Tracy's warnings about the damage it would cause to Luke's children. After Tracy left, Lucky confronted Holly. Luke and Ethan had talked briefly at the Haunted Star. Ethan wasn't worried about Lucky's anger and asked if Luke would tell him the truth if Holly revealed Luke wasn't his father. Luke promised Ethan he'd be the first to know, and Ethan seemed to trust him. Back at Windermere, Lucky and Liz ran into Rebecca, who was curled up in Emily's robe. The sight unsettled them, too close to memories of Emily. When Nikolas arrived, Liz confronted him about using Rebecca to replace Emily. Nikolas disagreed and defended his relationship. Liz and Rebecca returning to the living room, where Rebecca explained her delay and changing of clothes. Nikolas grew angry when Liz refused to apologize for warning him about Rebecca, accusing them of trying to keep him away.
Yeah, Nikolas was just crazy because his friends were looking out for him because they knew his attraction to Rebecca was because she looked like Emily and he needed more time. And he is just angry at everyone because he wants to do what he wants to do and he doesn't want to hear it.
I mean, she only died 2 episodes ago.
Right.
As Liz and Lucky left, Lucky invited Rebecca on the boat ride back to Port Charles, but Nikolas declined on her behalf. Liz guessed they'd have Emily's favorite lamb with mint for dinner, and neither responded. Lucky remained angry with Luke over the possibility that Ethan was his brother. Lulu wanted him to forgive, but Lucky couldn't let it go. Liz found Lucky pouring out his frustrations about Luke's betrayal, raping Laura, cheating, and doubts of Luke's love. She comforted him, reminding Lucky that Luke stayed in Port Charles because of his love, and that it's possible to love someone and still hurt them. She urged Lucky to give Luke another chance. Luke told Holly he'd stay in Port Charles despite her tempting offer to leave. As they shared a goodbye kiss, Lucky interrupted, furious. He told Holly to take Luke and leave town. Lucky scolded them both for their choices, but Holly stood firm. She refused to tolerate Lucky's self-righteous attitude and shared her history with Luke and Robert Scorpio. She revealed she had been pregnant with Luke's child years before Lucky was born, but lost the baby after marrying Robert. And that was also after Luke died in the avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Holly explained that she hadn't told Luke about Ethan because she knew how devoted he was to his family and didn't want to disrupt that. Luke's return and reunion with Holly led to the birth of Ethan, a secret kept from Luke's first family. Despite this, Luke walked away from Holly to protect the love he had for Laura and Lucky. Holly couldn't understand why Lucky refused to acknowledge Luke's sacrifice, but Lucky pushed away any attempt of reconciliation and left in anger. At the Haunted Star, Holly confronted Luke about Lucky's coldness towards him. Luke admitted that Lucky had never liked him, but hoped Ethan would be different. Ethan overheard their conversation and acknowledged his complicated feelings towards Holly, though a friend had reminded him to be grateful for the life she gave him and the adoptive parents she chose. On the docks, Lucky ran into Lulu, who clearly suspected Ethan was her brother. Lucky apologized on their father's behalf, but Lulu was more accepting, recognizing Luke's unpredictable ways. When Ethan joined them, his conversation with Lucky quickly turned hostile, culminating in a brief fight that Lulu broke up, urging them to act like brothers. Rebecca tracked down Nikolas at the Haunted Star, where tensions rose over Luke's initial rejection of Nikolas as Laura's illegitimate son. Rebecca's unexpected arrival caught everyone's attention, and her admission that she had followed Nikolas sparked a subtle connection. Later, Nikolas visited Lucky and Liz, where revelations about Rebecca's ties to the family deepened Liz's suspicions. Lucky wanted to give Rebecca the benefit of the doubt, contrasting his coldness towards Ethan. Ethan, desperate for his father's acceptance, confessed he hoped Luke was his dad despite the uncertainty of the test results. Luke insisted Ethan, Lucky, and Lulu were his legacy. When the paternity test came back positive, Lucky warned Ethan Luke might eventually break his heart. When Luke disappeared again, Ethan called Lucky and Lulu for support. They all accepted Luke's pattern of leaving without notice, though Tracy hinted that Ethan's real reason for sticking around might involve Rebecca. Liz urged Lucky to question Tracy, convinced Rebecca was scheming against Nikolas.
So is Sasha, current Sasha, the baby that Holly told Robert she miscarried? Or they said that she miscarried? Because I would think is Sasha older than Michael?
I don't think so.
So she had a baby she was pregnant with Robert, miscarried, then had a baby with Luke, which is Ethan, and then got pregnant again by Robert.
And also remember, Robert thought that Ethan was his.
Yes.
All right, this is a whole other, and I thought we did a 411 about Ethan.
We did before we learned that Sasha was Holly's, and that's where the confusion comes in. I'm just trying to place where they're trying to pretend that she could have happened. But that is a story for another day. So
it absolutely is. We're going to have to figure this one out.
At the hospital, Ethan's nervous conversation with Rebecca fueled Liz's determination to prove an affair between Rebecca and Ethan. Afterwards, Lucky and Liz crossed paths. Liz warned him not to underestimate Rebecca, reminding him Nikolas didn't deserve more pain. Lucky's attempt to joke about the situation fell flat. Nikolas and Rebecca shared a tender moment before Lulu and Lucky unexpectedly caught them. Lucky jokingly admitted Liz might be right about them, but Lulu insisted they were adults capable of making their own decisions. Lulu invited Ethan to a family gathering, catching Lucky off guard. After introductions and playful chaos with the kids, Lucky confronted Lulu about involving Ethan. Liz defended Lulu's intentions, but Lulu accused Lucky of prejudice before leaving with Ethan. Jason appeared briefly to check on Jake, handing him to Liz, who seemed uneasy but assured Lucky she was fine. Lucky confessed his resentment towards Ethan stemmed from the reminder of Luke's betrayal. Liz suggested that Lucky's anger might also be tied to her past with Jason. Later at Jake's, Ethan and Lucky clashed again, but Liz tried to keep peace. Ethan declared he wouldn't waste time trying to fix it, walking away with his own agenda. Nikolas, meanwhile, was conflicted about Rebecca, but seemed hopeful, planning to ask her to move in. Because, last week you were kissing my brother, but this week, move in, baby.
Well, he wants her, so, take away the opportunity for Lucky to have her.
Okay. Ethan's late night call to Lucky led to a tense conversation where Ethan revealed his concerns about Luke's disappearance and his own distrust of Rebecca. Liz tried to steady Ethan, encouraging him to consider whether staying in Port Charles was worth it. At the local bar, Lucky reluctantly acknowledged Ethan's similarities to Luke, but maintained his distance. When a stranger named Dominique began harassing Lulu, Lucky and Ethan joined forces to confront him. Dominic. Why
Dominic.
I'm like making up names. I loved Dominique, so I'll just put her back in here.
I was going to say, I'm like, wait a second.
No.
She's...
That would be fun, but no. Sorry. When a stranger named Dominic began harassing Lulu, Lucky and Ethan joined forces to confront him, resulting in a chaotic fight that even Nikolas and Rebecca couldn't ignore. Despite the chaos, Rebecca reminded everyone to respect Lulu's choices, while Dominic's boldness revealed a dangerous game at play. Behind the scene, the bar's owner praised Dominic's tactics of provoking the brothers to gain Lulu's attention. That would not get my attention. I don't want to be with you if you're messing with my brothers. As the dust settled, Liz arrived and learned about the fight. Ethan issued a chilling warning for her to stay safe before leaving. Nikolas admitted he understood Lucky's feelings for Liz, but also hinted of his own interest in her. I thought you were just asking Rebecca to move in.
Right?
Though Liz doubted pursuing anything with him would be wise. Meanwhile, a shipment planned for destruction was interrupted by police, leading to Dominic's arrest and sparking tension among law enforcement and legal teams involved. Lucky pushed hard for justice, but legal complications threatened to undermine their efforts. Back at the Haunted Star, Ethan confessed to Lucky that he and Rebecca had been working together to swindle the Quartermains, but had since split when Rebecca claimed feelings for Nikolas. Lucky relayed this to Liz, who was unsurprised but worried about Nikolas's happiness. Lucky later confronted Nikolas at Windermere, revealing Ethan and Rebecca's con. Nikolas was devastated but demanded every detail, unable to hide his pain. Though he asked Lucky to leave, Lucky stayed, unwilling to abandon his brother in his darkest moment. Lucky went to the hospital to fill Liz in on Nikolas's reaction when he learned the truth about Rebecca. Lucky was shaken by the fury he saw in Nikolas's eyes. He was frustrated that Nikolas had pushed him away so abruptly, almost as if Nikolas had become another Cassadine before his eyes. Liz reminded him that Nikolas and Alexis had always been the good Cassadines. She also shared that she had spoken to Rebecca and believed her feelings for Nikolas were genuine. Rebecca later showed up at Jake's, slapping Lucky and calling him a son of a jerk. She was furious he'd revealed her and Ethan's scheme to Nikolas. Lucky stood firm, telling her his loyalty would always be with his brother and nothing could change that. Meanwhile, at Windermere, Nikolas and Liz shared a passionate kiss in the turret room. Liz quickly stopped things before they went too far, certain Nikolas was using the moment to avoid his real feelings. Lucky arrived just then, unaware of what had happened. When Lucky voiced concern about Nikolas, Liz and Nikolas exchanged nervous glances. Nikolas explained Liz had been offering support after Rebecca's betrayal and asked them to leave. Liz urged Lucky to respect Nikolas's wishes, and they quickly exited. Back at Liz's house, Lucky sensed an unease and was worried Nikolas had hurt her. Liz assured him nothing like that had happened, but admitted her concern that Nikolas hadn't fully grieved Emily's death, because it was like 5 minutes ago. She feared anyone involved with Nikolas might just be a stand-in for Emily. On the sofa, Lucky cuddled up to Liz, glad there was nothing between them they couldn't handle. Liz didn't respond, weighed down by guilt over the kiss with Nikolas. Later at the hospital, Liz called Nikolas but reached only his voicemail, leaving a message about needing to talk. Lucky noticed the way Nikolas seemed to respond to Liz and encouraged her to spend time with him, hoping it might help. Monica checked in with Lucky about some files, then asked if he'd heard from Rebecca. Before Lucky could answer, Rebecca rushed by, apologizing for being late and reminding Monica she answered to Epiphany now. Lucky quietly slipped away. Liz and Nikolas tried to set boundaries, with Liz promising to stay his friend but nothing more. Nikolas said he'd find a way to work through his struggles without relying on her and would come up with a reason to avoid spending too much time together. The resolve was tested quickly when Lucky invited Nikolas and Spencer to the family barbecue, making it clear Liz and the boys would be there too.
At Lucky's backyard, Liz helped Spencer get ready while Nikolas sat with Lucky. Nikolas apologized for not dressing for the barbecue. I mean, does he have like a barbecue tux? And promised to bring swim gear next time. Liz watched the cousins play, noting Spencer and Nikolas seemed closer. Nikolas admitted that he could use help, and Liz reassured him that she and Lucky were there. Nikolas and Liz shared another kiss, but Liz stopped it, warning him that Lucky and the boys would return soon, and it would hurt Lucky if he saw them. She told Nikolas he couldn't use her to avoid facing his feelings about Rebecca. Nikolas apologized, but Liz admitted part of why she was upset was because she enjoyed the kiss. Later, after the boys were asleep and Nikolas had left, Lucky told Liz how much better Nikolas seemed after the barbecue. Liz had doubts, but Lucky didn't notice. He hugged her, grateful they were taking things slow and trying again. And he kissed her. Liz suggested inviting Nikolas and Spencer to the carnival to help Nikolas get his mind off of things. Before Nikolas could respond, Rebecca appeared, and Nikolas greeted her warmly, even inviting her along. Rebecca agreed, but only if Liz was okay with it. Lucky went to the hospital to invite Liz and the boys out for cheeseburgers and mentioned including Nikolas. Liz told him about seeing Nikolas and Rebecca together on the pier and how quickly Nikolas seemed to forgive Rebecca. Lucky agreed it felt strange. Liz admitted she was worried. At the docks, Rebecca arrived with Spencer to join Liz, Lucky, and the boys. Lucky complimented Rebecca, but Liz noticed her dress was similar to something Emily would wear. When Rebecca said Nikolas had given it to her, Liz made an excuse to let Rebecca and Lucky take the kids to the carnival without her. Once back at Windermere, Liz demanded to know why Nikolas was dressing Rebecca like Emily. At the carnival, Jason and Sam noticed Liz with Jake and Lucky snapping pictures, a rare, happy family moment. The chaos soon followed when Jake ran off and was nearly hit by Edward's car. Okay, poor Jake has already been, kidnapped twice. Has he had a first birthday yet?
He has.
Almost hit by a car. Eventually winds up being hit by a car.
Right?
Oh man, this Jake. Jason, Liz, and Lucky rushed to find Jake, who was crying but alive. Paramedics took him to the hospital, and Liz and Lucky close behind. At the hospital, the doctor told Liz and Lucky that Jake had head trauma and possibly a skull fracture. Lucky stayed with Jake for tests while Liz called Audrey. Overwhelmed, Liz broke down in tears. Jason comforted her silently. Later, the doctor gave an idea. Jake had a concussion and would stay overnight for observation. Lucky shared the news with Jason and Sam, who were relieved. Lulu told Nikolas that Jake was okay and that Liz and Lucky were doing fine. Nikolas went to check on them. Liz and Lucky shared a quiet moment at the hospital. Lucky told Liz how grateful he was to have her and the boys, his family. Liz, tearful but strong, promised to stay by Jake's side. Lucky left for police work, assuring Liz he'd be back soon. In the hospital corridor, Jason witnessed a brief, intense kiss between Nikolas and Liz before she pulled away. Liz warned Nikolas that their behavior was reckless and couldn't continue. Nikolas was surprised anyone had seen, but Liz insisted they had to stop, knowing their risky actions kept repeating despite their apologies. As Liz checked on Jake, she warned Nikolas that Lucky would cut him out of his life if he found out about their relationship. Nikolas admitted he feared losing his brother and apologized for not being a better friend to Liz, but she dismissed the apology and returned to her son's bedside. Lucky found Nikolas in the waiting lounge, upbeat and thanking him for helping him see what truly mattered. He revealed that he had made a decision. He wanted to build a life with the woman he loved without delay. When Nikolas pressed for details, Lucky hinted cryptically that he was ready to reclaim his life. Shortly after, Rebecca appeared, and as Nikolas invited her to leave, Ethan arrived, objected, sparking a quiet confrontation. In Jake's hospital room, Liz played with her son while a nurse checked on him. Lucky pulled Liz aside to confess that the carnival accident had changed his perspective. She and the boys were everything to him, and he wanted to act on that. Despite Liz's hesitation, he insisted, leading to a surprise marriage proposal.
Lucky really needs to get better at this.
But this one makes sense, and that's why I'm saying if Lucky had at least proposed after Liz's car accident,
right. Yes,
it would have made sense, and it would have been similar to a previous marriage proposal.
She could have referenced that. I'm going to say no because look how that turned out last time.
We have not found anything out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Jason stopped by Sam's apartment and revealed he had seen Liz and Nikolas kissing outside of Jake's room. Sam suggested it might have been an innocent moment of relief, but Jason was sure it was more. Both expressed concern for Lucky and the boys, hoping Liz and Lucky could shield them from the fallout. Outside Jake's room, Liz told Lucky she couldn't answer his proposal amidst the chaos. She feared risking their fragile bond. Lucky remained hopeful, confident that they had overcome every obstacle. Oh, you wait, dude. Liz admitted she loved him but needed time to consider a life-changing decision. At Windermere, Liz shared the proposal news with Nikolas. She confessed she wasn't in love with Lucky and asked if she should reveal to Lucky that her feelings lay with Nikolas. Nikolas pressed for honesty, and Liz admitted her feelings for him had deepened since their kiss. Ethan sought Lucky's help to stop Nikolas from plotting revenge on Rebecca, but Lucky dismissed the idea, trusting Nikolas wouldn't harm Rebecca as she was family. Ethan left frustrated. Lulu showed up at Lucky's house, venting about Maxie's obsession with Spinelli and hinting she might move in if their wedding didn't happen. Lucky, surprised by how crowded his house might get, revealed he had just proposed to Liz.
Oh my gosh. So ridiculous. Later at Windermere, Liz and Nikolas shared an intimate night, each feeling conflicted about their actions. Both acknowledged the weight of the moment, and Liz resolved that she had to be honest with Lucky despite the inevitable pain. Nikolas doubted it was wise. Hey dude, sorry I can't marry you because I just hooked up with your brother last night. In the hospital.
Because he kissed me one time and I decided that I had more feelings for him.
2 times, but yes.
2 times. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm. In the hospital, Lulu visited Dominic, sensing the couple's fragile future. She admitted to cynicism, but didn't want to dampen Dominic's, I keep wanting to make it Dominic's spirits. Back at the hospital, Liz told Lucky she appreciated his honesty and feared losing what they had. She agreed. What? She agreed to marriage, but wanted counseling first to ensure the relationship's stability. Lucky wanted to share the news with the boys, but Liz urged caution, not wanting to raise their hopes prematurely. When Jake's test results came back clear, Liz remained distracted, weighed down by the decision to remarry. Patrick reassured her the boys' safety was secure. At Windermere, Nikolas promised Rebecca he would give her all she deserved. Rebecca, ready to move forward, expressed love for Nikolas. Lucky arrived with good news. Jake was unharmed and Liz had accepted his proposal. While Rebecca was happy for them, Nikolas was stunned. Why is Nikolas stunned that she accepted the marriage proposal as he's promising Rebecca the exact same life pretty much, and he was involved in the same act? Lucky offered Nikolas advice to hold on to love if he found it. Later, Nikolas confronted Liz about accepting Lucky's proposal after their night together. Liz insisted that their night never happened and that she loved Lucky and wanted to build a family. Nikolas warned her against marrying out of guilt, but Liz was determined to make it work. Caught in a conversation on the docks, Lucky reminded them that secrets rarely stay hidden. Liz, upset that Rebecca was at Windermere, told Nikolas she and Lucky would start counseling to avoid repeating past mistakes. At therapy with Lainey, Lucky and Liz agreed to face their past openly. Lucky admitted his struggles with addiction and how he felt Liz's disappointment, while Liz confessed feeling betrayed and hurt. Lainey gently challenged Liz on whether she expected perfect honesty in any relationship. Liz's flashback revealed a painful secret. The night before, she had been with Nikolas. She reminded Lucky that she hadn't been faithful either. His time with Maxie wasn't innocent. That he hadn't been faithful either. His time with Maxie wasn't innocent. Lainey pressed Lucky on what hurt most about Liz's betrayal, and he said it was the lies that followed. Liz confessed to Lainey that Jason was Jake's biological father, but that Jason had agreed Lucky would raise him. When asked if that arrangement was what he truly wanted, Lucky said without hesitation that he loved Liz and wanted to be a father to both boys, determined to give Liz the happiness and stability they'd both missed before. He admitted that unlike his unreliable father, he was ready to work for their marriage. Liz interjected that Lucky was nothing like his dad, and when Lainey asked if he still needed Liz's validation, Lucky admitted that maybe he had before, but now they trusted and relied on each other, something that made Liz visibly uncomfortable. Lainey noted that their commitment put them ahead of many couples. Later, Nikolas was lost in thought about Liz when Lucky entered the turret room. Nikolas deflected questions about Rebecca and shifted the conversation to Lucky and Liz, curious how therapy had gone. Lucky admitted the session helped, especially since Liz had been honest about her feelings for Jason. Lucky was confident their marriage could survive because they were finally open with each other. Rebecca stopped by Lucky's, surprising Liz at the door. Liz was handing Lucky's paperwork and warned Rebecca that Lucky was as bad at it as his father. Rebecca acknowledged Liz's wariness, but suggested they find a way to work together. She revealed plans to enter nursing school, seeking a deeper connection with patients, a choice Liz compared to Emily's passion. Liz also wondered if Rebecca's new path and the gift basket she'd brought were motivated by her feelings for Nikolas. Rebecca then found Nikolas in the turret room at Windermere. She hinted that Lucky and Liz's engagement was something Nikolas should be happy about, but his forced smile told another story. After Alfred invited them to dinner, Nikolas declined, choosing a romantic evening alone with Rebecca. As they grew intimate, Nikolas suddenly pulled away, haunted by thoughts of Liz, before returning to Rebecca's embrace. Back at the Spencer house, Liz told Lucky Audrey had taken the boys out, and she mentioned Rebecca's visit. Sensing Liz's discomfort, Lucky suggested forgiving Rebecca, hoping time together might heal old wounds. Liz doubted Nikolas had truly forgiven Rebecca, but Lucky proposed inviting both over anyway. When dinner plans fell through, Nikolas canceled. Liz's unease deepened. Later, alone with Lucky, Liz blamed her nervousness on stress, while Lucky admitted he was anxious about intimacy after so long. Their kiss was interrupted when Liz flashed back to being with Nikolas, leaving Lucky to reassure her that honesty would help them overcome any obstacle. Liz professed her love but kept her doubt silent. Clad in a blanket, Rebecca confronted a troubled Nikolas on the turret balcony, where he admitted to scaring himself with how badly he had hurt Lucky and Liz. At Jake's, Liz and Olivia bonded over drinks, sharing stories of complicated love lives. Olivia urged Liz to be honest with Lucky, but Liz doubted she could. Alone, Liz chose a song on the jukebox just as Nikolas approached, pulling her into a close, intimate dance. If you were trying to move forward with someone else, maybe you should avoid that other person that keeps getting you into trouble, not pulling them into a close dance.
Just maybe. Later, Nikolas sought Liz out at the nurse's station, eager to discuss their feelings. He suggested meeting after her shift, but Liz chose the park instead, near her children, aware she didn't trust herself alone with him. Nikolas confessed to Rebecca his discomfort at family gatherings and his jealousy over Lucky's efforts. Rebecca suspected he was worried about Liz and her own relationship with Nikolas. At the park, Lucky caught Liz lost in thought. She confessed her fear of hurting him again, but Lucky said he had forgiven her. Liz doubted she deserved forgiveness because of her lies. Lucky urged her to let go of regret and move forward, suggesting maybe Liz was the one who needed to forgive herself. When Alfred delivered a note from Liz to Nikolas, Nikolas listened as the butler read her apology for leaving him at the park. You're going to have your butler read you a Dear John letter from your brother's fiance that you just slept with?
I hope Alfred was paid well.
Seriously. Liz admitted she needed space to figure things out. At Windermere, Nikolas grew frustrated when Alfred couldn't say where Liz had gone. He is not, tailing her. Robin arrived, and Nikolas confided his feelings about Liz, their stolen kisses, and the risk of damaging his friendship if he pursued her. Robin advised him to leave Liz alone, warning the consequences if he didn't. Meanwhile, Spencer found Liz's note and drew a picture on the back of it, taking it with him to the nursery. At Windermere, Spencer proudly showed Lucky a drawing he had made. Nikolas quickly took it away, realizing it was the back of Liz's letter. Why? Man, they should have done something with that, with the Drew Willow nursery thing, finding something in the nursery and being like, yes, we promised to display it where everyone could see it. Lucky was disturbed when Nikolas told Spencer his nanny would put him into bed every night, insisting that the routine shouldn't change. Lucky agreed kids need stability, but warned Nikolas there was a lot more to family than routines. But to be fair, that's how Nikolas was raised, so that's the only thing he knows.
Right.
Nikolas argued it was better if someone else helped raise Spencer, given the Cassadine family's notorious streak. Lucky disagreed, reminding Nikolas he wasn't like those relatives and should be more involved in his son's life. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Maxie enlisted Robin's help to return wedding gifts. Robin casually mentioned Patrick had gone to Jake's with Louise.
See, you're doing it too.
Which surprised Maxie since Robin didn't seem bothered. Their chat ended abruptly when Lucky arrived for paperwork. Robin handed him a file on domestic violence victim and asked about Liz. Lucky reassured her Liz was fine, just needing space. After congratulating Maxie on her non-wedding, this was her non-wedding to Spinelli, Lucky walked away, prompting Maxie to point out Lucky as an example of a failed marriage, blaming his drift on Liz's inattentiveness. Robin defended Liz, saying she did pay attention to Patrick. Later, Lucky found Sam in the evidence locker. She was looking up an old case file for a client, hoping to avoid red tape, not stealing. Lucky told her he owed her a pass for all she had done. He had also shared that he and Liz were remarrying, apologizing for never fully giving their relationship a chance. She's back with Jason, dude. She's fine.
Right.
Sam accepted it and denied any romance with Jason. I don't think that's accurate. I think that they were together. I don't
think they were telling everyone yet.
Yeah. After helping her leave, Lucky didn't notice Jason lurking to check on some evidence. Jason and Sam later discussed her talk with Lucky. She apologized for pretending they weren't a couple. Yep. And Jason expressed gratitude for her support, saying they were moving past problems towards something better. Moments later, Lucky confronted Helena at the hospital. Furious she was there. Nikolas explained Helena held key information about Valentine, a dangerous Cassadine seeking revenge. 2009? Is that when Valentine came?
Wow. Maybe, I guess.
Wait, I don't think that's right, though. Helena seemed to enjoy rattling Lucky, so Nikolas had taken her to her room. Yeah, he debuted in 2016. They waited 7 years?
I guess so. They were waiting to find your man to play him.
Oh, good job. Lucky threatened to get rid of Helena if Nikolas wouldn't, storming off. I so want to go back and watch that. When we would be in September 2009 then? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Liz confronted Nikolas, upset at how he put Lucky through that ordeal. She reminded him Lucky couldn't be near Helena after all she had done. Nikolas acknowledged how hard it was on his brother and asked about Liz's plans. Liz took Nikolas to a private room and asked if she had received the letter she had left with Alfred. Nikolas confirmed and wondered if she had left town because of him or intended to act like nothing happened. Liz said she didn't want to hurt Lucky and was committed to building a life with him. Nikolas said he would try to make things work with Rebecca, even though he admitted he couldn't be in the same room with Liz without wanting her. Liz found it unfair for Nikolas to use Rebecca as a distraction, but he insisted he didn't hate Rebecca, that it just freed Liz to be with Lucky. Dude, you could also just be by yourself.
Right.
He stayed silent as he left. Later, Lucky visited Helena in her hospital room. She had confessed she had missed him, but accused her of lying about being poisoned by a Cassadine. So is that why Helena poisoned Valentine years later? Oh
I
my
guess
God.
so. Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't
what?
realize they went this far back.
Helena dropped the act, confirming she was serious. Before Lucky could respond, oh no, he was just hallucinating her when he was poisoned, right? She was already dead. When he was being remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Before Lucky could respond, Rebecca walked in, surprised to see them both. Liz checked on Helena, who taunted her about her affair with Nikolas, claiming Lucky had no idea. Liz ignored the jabs, but Helena pressed harder, wondering if revealing the truth would push Lucky back into addiction. Liz warned Helena to stop, but Helena smiled. Pleased she had struck a nerve, just then Luke appeared, telling Helena she was interrupting. Helena admitted that she and Liz were old rivals, but Luke ordered Helena to leave Liz alone. Helena warned Luke that while he might dismiss her, Lucky wouldn't. Luke remained unfazed. At Liz's request, Nikolas met her at her studio to discuss Helena's threat. Liz worried Helena might reveal their night together to Lucky. Nikolas said Helena was only guessing unless one of them gave her proof. They couldn't They agreed they couldn't build happiness by hurting others and decided to take time apart before trying to salvage their friendship. Nikolas left after a brief, intense kiss. Helena accused Nikolas of trying to get her out of the country to keep her quiet. Meanwhile, Liz met Lucky outside his house, attempting to share her concerns. Before she could speak, Lucky opened the door to a crowd of friends and family. At the Spencer house, Lucky announced to everyone they were giving marriage another chance. The group was happy, though Luke sensed Liz's hesitation. Liz reassured him that she loved Lucky, but Luke reminded her love alone might not be enough. Liz struggled to convince herself and Luke that they were meant to be. Lulu, talking to Lucky, admitted how wrong she had been about his relationship with Liz. Lucky teased her but kept it light. The party paused when Laura's mom wanted to take photos for her daughter. Luke welcomed Liz back to the family and also introduced Ethan, who felt out of place but was accepted by Lucky as part of the family night. Ethan later spoke with Lulu, surprised to hear stories of Luke as a family man. Later, Liz slipped away to meet Nikolas at Windermere. She told him about Lucky's announcement and admitted she loved Lucky and his boys, but she couldn't keep hoping for a future with Nikolas when their relationship couldn't work. And that was the last day. That was October 20th, 2009. That was the last day that we had Greg Vaughn as Lucky. So we will pick up when our boy comes back. Next week, back to Jonathan Jackson.
Woohoo!
So, yeah, at this point, we are recording this, and Jonathan Jackson just left again.
Yeah.
And we're trying not to think about it. He did. He's been doing this to us now for 30-something years. Should be used to it by now. Really should. Which just means he'll be back again. Yay!
Yes. Yes.
His kids will get older eventually.
Exactly. He's being a good dad. You can't be mad at that, even though.
He is. No, and that's what I said. So, yeah. Well, I mean, so at this point, guys, it's June 2025. Well, this is going to be released July.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Jackson just left again after having proposed to Liz again.
Right.
Out of nowhere.
Again.
Again. They had not been intimate again. So,
hey, at least this time she wasn't intimate with Nikolas the night before.
Well, Nikolas is dead, so there is that. Oh, no, sorry. Nikolas is in jail. Nikolas is in jail. I'm so sorry.
Jail. Quit killing Nikolas off.
Okay. Anyway, join us on Monday as we just figure out what Liz is doing. And if you're listening to this years from now, we don't even know if she's still on the show.
She'll still be on the show. She has to stay forever. We probably still won't know what she's doing.
No, she'll probably have turned down Lucky again.
Exactly. So, on that note, have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot. Suitcases, Tetris style.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
No going back this time. Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax, carpets.
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant. If things go to plan, it'll be smooth sailing.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.